All right, welcome back to Right on the Edge. My name is Derek. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. And today, I was going to take a look at this video by Bright Sun Films called Abandoned McBarge. And a McBarge makes me think, well, I guess it's a McDonald's barge, which sounds kind of cool. There's also an update to it. So this one's from 8 years ago. And then there's an update from 2021. So I want to learn what this is, and then we'll watch the update too. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what I have time for after this. But yeah. If you like this kind of like urban explorer type of things, then yeah, like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and even if you don't, like, subscribe, and leave a comment below because I have ADHD, so I kind of watch whatever is catching my eye that day. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Huh. It fell off right there. There we go. Vancouver, huh? Let's make sure I got the sound going. Get the sound going weird. That would do it. Just wasn't pushing quite all the way.
Event, which was
There
the
we
last to
go.
be held in North America. On the other side of the city, where cruise ships call their home port, down the river about 6 miles, is a relic from the past expo. A fast food restaurant like no other, Friendship 500, or better known
Friendship 500.
as the McBarge.
The McBarge.
Way back in
dude.
1985, Vancouver was preparing for Expo 86, the World Exposition on Transportation and Communication.
I kind of wish we still had expos like this. I thought they were like great places for new inventors with ideas to get their ideas out there. I love going to expos. Like, doesn't really matter what the expo is. I love doing it. I love going to them.
The World's Fair was set to take 160 acres of land, and like all World Fair events, multiple different pavilions and buildings would be constructed on the land. McDonald's was set to have several of their restaurants in the expo, specifically 5 of them. Most of them being the basic generic restaurants. However, McDonald's had one planned like no other. Designed by naval architecture firm Robert Allen, McDonald's was building a 2-story floating restaurant called
That's so cool. That's so cool. I mean, the concept I would go there. I would have gone there.
Friendship 500. The reason why it was given the 500 name was because it was the 500th McDonald's restaurant in Canada. Though technically it wasn't the only floating McDonald's in the world.
Good job, McDonald's.
Even though dates are a little skewed, sometime in the early 80s, the fast food chain opened a riverboat restaurant in St. Louis. And sometime in the early 2000s, it later closed.
It's pretty dope.
With $12 million collectively being spent on all 5 new restaurants, Friendship 500 was launched and taken upriver to serve guests of Expo 86. It was rumored, though, that the final cost of Friendship 500 was around $8 million.
That seems pretty affordable, but I guess this is 1985 money.
Along with the fair, the McBarge opened in May of 1986. It was 187 feet long, featured 2 stories of dining areas, and was able to seat around 300.
Would you guys go here? I mean, I'd go here.
Friendship 500 was located on the far west portion of the
fantastic.
fair, anchored adjacent to the
As long, the thing is though, the problem with these McBarges and stuff like that, is the fact that they're stuck in one place. If it had like stops, like McBarge stop 1 through 5, and it was like actually being a barge, I think people would go there for the novelty of it. Like one of those dinners and a boat ride type of thing.
Malaysia Pavilion. People absolutely loved the restaurant, and collectively throughout all the other McDonald's restaurants in the expo, it was one of the most popular and profitable. In
Wow.
fact, throughout the entire fair's run in 1986, the restaurant had sold more hamburgers than any other McDonald's restaurant
Jeez, look how many employees they used to have. You didn't wait at this McDonald's, buddy. You did not wait.
in British Columbia. This was probably because of the design to this floating restaurant just being so unique. Its early to mid 80s modern design was eye-catching enough, along with the fact that it was on the water. The
Man, are you guys kind of just jealous sometimes of this cool shit restaurants used to do? I know I am.
interior was also something to be desired, as it was a new look for the fast food chain, with wood floors, framed art, and plants throughout.
That looks
It was
nice.
McDonald's mid-80s campaign to enhance their image as their restaurants being a more enjoyable quality experience. And this proved to be very effective, as Friendship 500
But they do have a like a top steakhouse, I think, in Texas. So, I mean, so McDonald's can do quality.
was extremely popular in the fair. As British Columbia was entering its winter
Nice.
season, the official closure of Expo 86 had come on October 13, 1986. Now, the fact that the McDonald's restaurant was floating wasn't just a gimmick. The idea behind it was actually pretty clever. Once the fair ran through its 6-month lifespan, the barge could just be moved to another destination. This made the
Wow.
initial investment
would've
of
been
the
smart.
alleged $8 million much more justified. However, as Expo 86 was being demolished, the McBarge was still trying to locate a spot for it to travel to. And as 1987 came in, Friendship 500 continued to anchor in its original spot, closed. Even though McDonald's had negotiated a 40-year lease, Vancouver's City Council denied McDonald's request to continue operating post-Expo 86.
Wow.
McDonald's
Big dick
continued
move,
to search
man.
for new potential places to dock the barge, however to no avail. As all of their
Should've moved it
proposals
to
were
Seattle.
turned down, the barge continued to sit in the former Expo 86 location for another 4 years. Keeping the barge there closed cost the company around $150,000 a year just in maintenance expenses. The former fairgrounds land was eventually sold to developers, and of course, they wanted the barge gone. So in July of 1991, McDonald's had given up fighting for the future of the barge, and now had to find a place to dock it while it was in limbo. So Friendship 500 was
Crazy.
taken up and around Vancouver, down the river, and anchored offshore in the Burrard Inlet. Anchored only 7 miles from its original dock, resting about 200 feet offshore of an oil
That's
refinery.
crazy.
The 187-foot-long restaurant was left floating there indefinitely and abandoned.
You know, I was wondering, why didn't they just try to anchor it on like an oil rig or something? You know, like that Krusty Krab episode of The Simpsons. Probably not enough people, but some of those rigs are big. So, I mean, I imagine it done business.
Despite the rapid deterioration of Friendship 500, it was still considered to be an asset and was soon sold from McDonald's to several new owners. Despite this, though, the vessel remained untouched and abandoned for years.
Oof.
Other than the removal of the interior furniture and some fixtures, the interior of the restaurant remained untouched. It wasn't until 2003 when Marvel and New Line Cinema had rented the barge as a filming
Wow.
location for their upcoming film, Blade Trinity.
The worst Blade, in my opinion.
The Night Stalker's headquarters is this barge that was a restaurant for Expo 86. and
No
it's been sitting
way.
Out off the coast of Vancouver for years. And I got to thinking,
Wow.
what if we dragged this barge into port and turned it into our Night Stalker's lair? And it's just a shell with windows, and we're putting in all the technology, all the weapons, the armory, everything the Night Stalkers do to slay vampires.
The movie was released in December of
Smart.
2004, and while I've never seen it, from what I've heard, it wasn't really that great.
It was not.
Not much of the barge was changed for the filming, however, some past relics from the former McDonald's were obviously taken out, and some walls were repainted. The exterior remained mostly the same, and by 2004, the McBarge had returned to its original anchored spot in the Burrard Inlet. The former restaurant was once again left abandoned, with the future still unknown. It
They
wasn't
just had to
until
put it back.
2009 when the man who bought the McBarge back in 1999, Howard Meekin, had big and expensive plans for the former restaurant. The plan for Friendship 500's future was to bring it into an extensive rehabilitation and dock it in a town called Mission, British Columbia.
Oh,
It's about
that'd be
40
cool.
miles from Vancouver, and part of the development was to make it the centerpiece of a $10 million floating complex.
Oh, that'd
Docks
be
would
dope.
wrap around the base of Friendship 500 with light commercial and very
I'm gonna guess this failed. unfortunately.
Various food offerings inside, including a high-quality restaurant. It would have been called Sturgeon's on the Fraser, named after the river it was on. As 2010 came in though, the proposal was still awaiting approval by City Council,
Aw,
and
man.
soon after, the concept was rejected on grounds that float planes would produce too much noise.
Man, fuck you guys, dude. Jesus Christ, these city councils are fucking bitches.
So once again, hope for the McBarge to ever be used again was kinda low. By 2000,
Bro, Canada, you shoot yourself in the foot so often. Like, this would have brought so much money to your city. An unbelievable amount of money. And you fucked yourself. Like, God, you guys are good at that.
2011, Friendship 500 was renamed to Seabourn 2
The cities,
and
by the
listed
way, not
for
Canadians.
sale
I
on
love you guys.
PacificBoatBrokers.com for
Politicians suck, though.
$680,000. However, with no sale, the barge continued to float abandoned in the same place it has for the majority of its life. With multiple broken windows and exterior doors even being left open, the immense amount of moisture inside the structure had been taking its toll on the walls and floors. Mold and moss had been thriving on the former restaurant, and vandalism was becoming a problem. The interior had its copper and valuables stripped from what was left, and kids started tagging the inside and outside of the barge. Every once in a while,
Really
some measures
unfortunate.
would be taken to prevent this, with boards covering the broken windows, as well as fences with barbed wire on them being placed on easily accessible spots on the barge. As a few years passed, this didn't really stop much though, as Friendship 500 was becoming well known as a local eyesore. And as more time passed, concerns began to arise on the possibility of the barge even sinking.
Looks
By
like it.
2013, the entire structure was listing. However, the barge's owner claimed that Friendship 500 was built to last 90 years, and that it had multiple watertight compartments. Finally, news broke in 2015 that the McBarge would see a future use.
No,
Despite its
that'd be
extremely
good.
rundown appearance, the dream Howard Meakin had to see McBarge in use once again never left him. The plan was, by late 2000,
I love people like that, where they just don't give up. You know, they have a vision, and they're like, I'll figure it out. Good job.
2015, the barge would be moved up to a maintenance dock in Maple Ridge, British Columbia. The barge would then undergo a $4 million renovation for an unknown purpose.
Jeez, $4
In late
million.
2015, the exterior was majorly cleaned up with a fresh coat of paint over
$4
the massive
million,
graffiti
boys.
and whiteboards over
Good
the
job.
broken windows. And as promised, on December 22nd, 2015, two tugboats took Friendship
History
500
in the
for a
making,
52-mile
They
journey
bannered it up,
through
too.
and out
They
of Burrard
bannered it.
Inlet, around Vancouver, and down through the Fraser River to its new destination. The new purpose of the barge, though, remained unknown, as Howard had signed a non-disclosure agreement.
Damn.
The only information the public was given about the project was that it would be ready by 2016, but they never met that deadline. So what is the status of it now? Well, as early Q2 of 2017, Friendship 500 is still docked for renovations. Most of the interior has been gutted, but work seems slow overall. I actually have talked to an individual who is involved with the renovation, and confirmed to me that the project is still waiting for
Still waiting for approval. So you know what? Let's end that video there, right? Because I think we've about wrapped it up. Let's look at the update. I would love to see the update. I hope they did something with it.
Remember McBarge? The year was 1986, and
Oh, I
that's what
remember it.
people fondly
So I'm going to skip it a little bit. Beautiful shots.
Nestled alongside the Fraser River sits a unique relic
Beautiful
of the
shots.
past.
Still going strong, still floating.
Today, I've been given the unique opportunity to find out what's left behind and talk to the owner who wants to bring back McBarge. Join me on this very unique adventure.
Awesome. Very cool. I want to see what happens, man. And owner, if you ever watch this, you know, and you ever get a chance to renovate it, I would love to go there in person. You know, I'm only a few hours away. I would love to go there in person and see what you make of it. Not
Okay.
looking good. Needs some pressure washing.
So this is McBarge. How did I get here? So there used to be awnings,
I don't know, man. You tell me.
blue awnings, over top the main entrance doors here. You could actually see where those awnings were. These big semicircle with the rivets in them. There also used to be a McDonald's sign right there where another wire is coming out, and then there's two metal poles sticking out. That's where the other McDonald's sign was. So this blue pole right here was the McDonald's flagpole, and there's still a flag on there. I think, I can't tell.
That'd be crazy.
It's
if it's still
probably
McDonald's flag.
But boy, that flag's still there. Kind of looks like a McDonald's flag.
All right.
All right. Ooh, floating
Here we
water.
are.
Damn. I was hoping this would have like a happy ending, like, you know, years after the first video. But here it is, still in a state of disrepair. Still waiting.
There's still a lot of intact pieces spread around, including the staircase, which is still pretty much completely as it was in the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, it should be made
This
out
is
of
where the
steel,
elevator
probably.
shaft would have been. Right here. Would have gone up all 2 stories with 3 different stops on the halfway section on the staircase.
Nice, got your
And
cameraman.
then over here, look at this. Look how rusted. Oh,
Dude, that's what happens, man. Years and years just floating on the sea. Yeah.
the door is.
No
This
exit.
door has seen better days.
I'm a developer,
sure?
and I built a number of restaurants for McDonald's in Western Canada. I knew of the barge.
Wow. So he's an actual, like, he was in the know for Canada's like McDonald's expansion.
I knew that they had some issues with City of Vancouver with the barge and in False Creek, and so I offered to buy it from them. I didn't have a specific concept where it would go, but I knew eventually something would ring right and I could move on it, but I never expected it would take 30 years to do that.
Well, they have gutted most of the things. There's weird things that are still left behind, like the lights to the dining room here. And just like in a place like Hard Rock Park, which was also in a sort of gutted state, you can tell which is a guest area and which is an employee area just based upon the ceiling.
I mean, if I had to guess, those were there just because of wiring reasons. It's good to mark where the wiring is at, so they left them there. It's easier to redo. Like, so that wiring could still be really good because it's in cases and stuff like that, so it's easier to like, work off in existing infrastructure.
So you could see the white is obviously the dining area, and then the kitchen area, which is in here, is just bare bones. Obviously, a lot of the
Yeah, I imagine when he bought it, he
windows
didn't think
towards
30
the
years,
bow
man. That's a lot of time because he
have
has to
been
sit there and
broken.
like pay for it, keep it floating, keep people out. God, that would been cool to see in its heyday. Alarmed.
Here's this staircase. This staircase is actually still painted. This is still white.
Yeah, there's still protection in the windows near it.
It's probably untouched, rather. The walls, or the exterior paneling, is in very good condition.
Be so cool. Alright, those fanbows are so fun.
Oh my god, the ceilings are... This is huge.
That must have been so cool, man. I'm so jealous of people in the 80s sometimes. Like, I don't want to actually live through the 80s, right? You know? But things like this make me jealous of that. And the same with like the World's Fair and like the other things that they used to do back in the day, where they would just get these inventors with all these new ideas and have them all meet in one place. Sad we don't do that anymore.
You know what, though? It would be kind of nice if we got some context behind everything. Maybe I should go
Yeah.
find someone. So I'm joined by Howard and Larry.
Because of the design of the hull and the multi-chambers, it doesn't twist either. So
Right,
you're not getting any cracking.
It can't flex all that much, right?
Right.
Yeah. But even through the winters and all that, it's, you know, it's stayed in pretty good condition. I mean, there's even sitting water here right now, and it's, you know, it's done pretty well.
Have you pointed out the steel structure for the engineering of this was over-engineered at the time
Yeah.
for the use of it. And all of these steel beams are still in
Yeah.
remarkable condition.
That's
So the superstructure actually,
incredible.
it begins there, and then it just curves around the entire thing and comes around. It's incredibly strong, I would assume.
Yes.
And that's what's going to accommodate
Absolutely
for another deck
incredible.
or another rooftop.
All right, so I'm gonna end here, so you guys can go over, give this dude a like and a subscribe, and like and subscribe if you like to see these types of videos too. I'm not gonna finish it because it kind of makes me sad, you know, just a little bit. I could finish it, but it does. It makes me a little bit sad because I was hoping that there'd be like a happy update, but it seems like they're just still waiting. And it's like this guy's dreams waiting with it. Well, I guess we all have to wait on dreams sometimes. But if you guys like that, if you like Urban Explorer videos, if you like learning about the past or whatever, leave a comment below, like, subscribe, and just join me on my next learning adventure. Maybe I'll start putting like a little sign in the corner or something of these videos so it can be like entertainment, dumb shit, you know, whatever I'm listening to at the time. But shit, man, I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. It's beautifully cloudy here in Washington, and I just hope it's nice and sunny where you're at and you're having a great day with your family and stuff. So bye bye.